Hi everyone and welcome to Flipping Heck Business, Flip Learning for AQA A-Level Business Studies. So this is for Unit 3, which is the Marketing Unit, Decision Making to Improve Marketing Performance, and this is video number 7. Now, contents of video number 7. So we're going to be looking at the extended marketing mix, so the 7 Ps, cohesion of the 7 Ps, influences on the marketing mix, and then the effects of changes in the marketing mix. Right, now, when you're coming to your exams, you need to think about, okay, so what does this actually link to? Now, looking at the marketing mix, we can see that it links to segmentation, it links to target marketing, it links to market research and positioning, which are all things that we've covered already. Then we've got the product life cycle, which we're going to be looking at in the next couple of videos, and adding value as well. So whenever you've got an exam question, especially a 25 marker, then you want to try and pull in some of the other sections to include this. Or even if you've got a question on like segmentation or target market, talk about the marketing mix in there as well to get those higher marks. So what actually is the marketing mix? Now, the definition for it is that the marketing mix is a combination of elements used by a business to enable it to meet the needs and expectations of its customers. In other words, it's several factors that it would take into account that it will then try and pull together so that it can actually meet the requirements of its potential customers. So there are basically 7 processes. Now, the original 4 Ps, which is what a lot of people think of when they think of the marketing mix, and you may have covered some of this in your GCSE as well, is we've got product, price, place, and promotion. So product is the actual good or service. The price is then how much the customer is willing to, or can actually afford to pay. The place is distribution, so like where it's actually going, and where you're serving it from. And then promotion is like finding and persuading the customer to actually buy the product. Now, additional to that, we've got the extra extended part, which is the processes, people, and physical evidence. So this takes it up to the 7 Ps. So process is basically systems and processes to deliver the product to a customer. So how it goes from being made all the way through to the customer having it in their hands. So think about like transaction, web design, operational support, manufacturing. Then we've got people. So these are the ones who actually make contact. So again, we've got things like customer service. We've got like how skillful people are, whether you need to actually train them up. Even if you look at people who are working just in supermarkets, they still need to be trained up on certain knowledge about the goods so that if someone asks them a question, they can help them out. And then we've got physical evidence. So this is basically the parts of the physical environment that the customer experiences. So think about layout, design of shop floors, where the product's actually being placed on goods, whether there's what the sort of the receipts or the actual manuals, what they look like as well. So why do we have the extended mix? Now, like I said, we've got the 4 Ps, which are the original marketing mix. Then the extended mix is simply put so that each of the business functions can work more closely together. So we can see where customer service, HR, so recruitment and training, any kind of operations comes into play as part of the marketing mix, because it is something that does need to be thought of. Then we've got technology becoming increasingly more important, so customer communication, how you actually sell the product online, and then intangible elements, so branding, how that would actually be utilized as well. Now, I know that we talk about the marketing mix with the 7 Ps. There are so many theories out there, but for the actual A-level, it's the 7 Ps you need to concentrate on. I have found a website that actually had 42 Ps. Fortunately, you don't need to know that. So here's an example then. So when we're thinking of the marketing mix, we like to think of it as being able to work together. So with Kellogg's, we've got product. So say Crunchy Nut cereal. So the proposition is that the trouble is they taste too good. That is trying to sort of push the product onto the person, and then you have to create the product around that theory. Then you've got price. So, if you look at Kellogg's, it's quite an affordable price. It's not the cheapest, but it's also not ridiculous. So it allows for at least once a week purchasing. It makes it available to the mass market. And of course, it comes in multiple box sizes as well. So of course, this means that you can vary the price through. Then promotion. So think about TV advertising, billboards, posters, any kind of online or social media like marketing campaign that they run as well. Then we've got place. So for example, Kellogg's is actually usually sold through a third-party supplier. So like Asda, Tesco, or wholesalers, they don't actually sell it themselves. Well, then they need to think about, right, okay, so who are we actually going to allow to buy these? Who are willing to buy these? Where are they going to be the best positions for us to hit that mass market? But then we leave the actual 4Ps and we come into the extended Ps, so the people. So think about the actors in the adverts, like do they actually represent the product? Any kind of like sales or marketeers that are being used as well out on the streets, are they trained? And of course the staff training in the suppliers as well. So like if you actually go to Tesco and someone asks about Kellogg's, well, are they going to be able to give you some good advice? Then we've got processes, so think about the creation, the supply of it, putting it to the shelf and then getting it to that customer. And then physical is things like branding, marketing position, any kind of advert design, like their actual position on the shelves. I mean, like Kellogg's pay extra money so that they have their own sections. Why? Because it draws people's eye to it. If you've just got something right at the bottom, it's going to be less visible. So why do we call it a marketing mix? Basically, it's because each element of the marketing mix is related to the others. So none of these should be standing alone. They have to work together. There needs to be some element of cohesion actually working here. So, you know, you wouldn't just go, well, we'll just create a product and then not think about the branding, the pricing, or anything like that. They all have to pull together to create one perfect marketing mix. So again, when we're looking at cohesion, so we're looking at blending the mix. So marketing mix blends together the elements of the marketing strategy. There must be internal consistency within the mix, right? So it needs to be something that is carried through all the way. And the mix must be consistent with the product and its target market, right? You need to think about, like, you know, if I'm creating a mass market good, well, I'm not going to charge niche market prices. I'm not going to, like, if I've got a product that I want to just sell to people who are well off or rich, then I might not put the advert for it actually on TV because they probably wouldn't see it during EastEnders, but during Coronation Street. But I would actually put it maybe into like magazines that they might look at, or I'll use a targeted social media campaign. So an effective marketing mix, so what does it actually do? So why do we have this thing called the marketing mix? It's basically an easy way of sort of pulling it all together, but the effective mix is that it achieves your marketing objectives. Remember, objectives are very, very important. You've always got to have a goal. It meets the customer needs, so it gives them what they want or what they need. Is balanced and consistent. So again, you've got the fact that, like, you know, you're looking at the pricing and you're consistent throughout. You're not like sort of going off on one and forgetting what you've already done, right? Then we've got creates competitive advantage. So by using an effective mix, it puts you a little bit like more in control of yourself, and therefore you should be able to be very, very competitive against your your rivals. And then finally, it should be consistent with the chosen target market and positioning. So if you are a high quality, high branded good, right, and that is your target market is people with money, well then you don't need to like sort of use a marketing mix that is more reliant on mass markets or is reliant on like cheap goods but at expensive prices. So some of the major influences on the marketing mix. So these are the three key ones. So we've got business resources, technology, and importance of customer relations. So with business resources, we're thinking a lot to do with finance. So have you actually got the money to undertake it? So can you afford those adverts? Can you afford $50 million to put a Super Bowl advert on, right? Technology. So, you know, think about the change in impact on the marketing mix. So, I mean, like, we've got production and we've got promotion, right? But what else? I mean, like, are we moving away from having into a more computer-based sales team? So, such as if we look in supermarkets again, then we have a lot more people who are using self-checkout. Well, does that take away some element of it? I mean, like, have we got people who are rightfully trained? If people have still got a question about the goods, can they still actually find it? is our are we selling more online now so that we're not actually like having to deal with people on a day-to-day basis, right? What about our promotion? I mean, like, is it going more social media? That might work for you younger people, but will it work for older people? And then finally, the importance of customer relations. So again, like, you need to be able to generate repeat business and build customer loyalty, right? If we use the Kellogg's analogy again, think about when you start using Kellogg's. It's when you're like 2, maybe younger. When do you finish using Kellogg's? Probably when you're up in your sort of 80s, when you're actually like pretty much when you die. So they try to build that customer brand loyalty with you through your whole life. They're a staying company. They plan on being around for a long time. But more than that, think about it. You will then pass that on to your children, onto your grandkids, and they become loyal customers as well. So a few of the other things that can actually influence it. So position on the product life cycle. So for example, you might use price skimming when launching and then lowering your price at a steady growth. So, you know, what do car manufacturers do towards the end of a car's life cycle to get rid of old models? Well, they might actually upgrade them. They might just reduce the price down a little bit, and like still add in those extras just to get rid of those old models. We've got the Boston Matrix. So may increase promotional speed on a problem child to help gain market share. Then there's the type of the product as well. So we've got technology advancing in products markets may influence the design and mix. Marketing objectives, is it sales, growth, profit? Competition, so like if your competitors are doing something really, really good, well, you might actually try and copy them. Then positioning, so where are the competition? So what gaps could be filled? Now we're going to be looking at the product life cycle, Boston Matrix, even type of product, again, when we actually do like the sort of product side of the marketing mix. So that's coming in a future video. Okay, so the marketing mix is there to deliver on the marketing strategy. So how does it actually do that? So first of all, you need to choose which customers to serve. So that's your market segmentation, so what parts of the market, and then targeting, so what segments to actually enter. Then decide how to serve those customers. So think product differentiation. Are you going to give what makes you different to someone else? Now, if you're making fidget spinners, what makes your fidget spinner better than the others? I know fidget spinners a little bit out of date, but it is a really good example. I mean, like, they have to have some sort of element of difference in them. I had a Batman one, by the way. So marketing position is how customers actually perceive the product. Now we've looked at STP already. So from segmentation, we go to targeting, we go to positioning, and then we start developing your marketing mix. And then finally, so depending on the product, the focus of the marketing mix will vary. Right, so if you are thinking about just putting an emphasis on price, so we're actually after just cheap goods, then you would maybe look at going into discounted supermarkets or looking at low-cost airlines, like just producing something cheap. Right. However, if you're looking at, like, you know, how you're actually going to promote yourselves, then we can look at soap powders. They spend an awful lot of money, and furniture retailers spend an awful lot of money on actually, like, you know, they've got a decent product, they've got a product that people want, there's a bit of competition, but how are we going to actually get it out there? And they spend hundreds and thousands of pounds on like goods, on like, you know, actually putting out a product like advert or like any kind of marketing. If it's products, then you could be going, right, okay, well, we're going to go for a niche market, or we're going to go for luxury goods. So we've got like local luxury motor cars, just cars, right? Things like Rolls Royce, Lamborghini. Then you've got like tailor-made holidays as well. So if you're going for like skiing, or if you wanted to go on like any kind of adventure holiday, or what I heard recently, the dark holidays, where you're looking at areas that might be of like, you know, sort of historical, but maybe a bit of a gory past. And then we've got place as well. So like, you know, how are you actually going to like put your goods? So like Tesco's marketing mix is that they go for convenience stores. They have a lot more smaller stores that are designed to be in just places where you will go and use it. Co-op use this as well. They don't have big massive stores. They have smaller ones just situated locally. Instead of, like, you know, trying to draw people to you, they go and put them near you. Okay, thank you very much for watching. So if you like this video, please leave a comment below, and make sure that you subscribe and give me a thumbs up. The next video will be following very, very shortly. Thank you very much. Bye.